A law is passed. A new rule is enforced. Suddenly, a right you took for granted feels uncertain. Maybe it's the right to speak freely, to assemble, or to be treated equally under the law. These are the bedrock of democracy. But who ensures these rights are protected for everyone? That's the job of the courts. The judiciary is the quiet arena where the most profound questions about our society are debated and decided. In American governance, the judicial branch is the referee, interpreting laws, ensuring the other branches play by constitutional rules. Without impartial courts, the system could descend into a power struggle, risking the rights of minorities. The courts stand as a bulwark against overreach, relying on logic, precedent, and constitutional principles. When a state segregates schools, or the government restricts speech, or police violate rights, it's the courts that provide a venue for challenge and resolution. Citizens turn to judges to ask, is this fair? Is this just? Is this constitutional? The answers shape not just individual lives, but the nation's character for generations. These battles often unfold quietly, but the stakes are enormous. The judiciary safeguards the balance between government authority and individual liberty. It protects the rights of the unpopular and the powerless against the tyranny of the majority. Understanding how the courts work is vital for every citizen. It empowers us to recognize and defend our shared rights. The federal court system is a pyramid, and at its base are the United States District Courts. 94 federal districts span the country, serving as the trial courts where cases begin. Here, evidence is presented, witnesses testify, and judges preside. Think of the classic courtroom drama. If your federal rights are violated, your journey starts in a district court. These courts handle everything from employment discrimination to challenges against federal regulations. Every document, testimony, and ruling becomes part of the official record, crucial for any appeal. For example, if citizens believe a city ordinance restricts their right to protest, they file suit in district court. Lawyers argue, evidence is weighed, and the judge issues a ruling. For many, this is the final word, as not all cases are appealed. District courts are the workhorses of the judiciary, resolving disputes that impact individuals and communities daily. They may not have the Supreme Court's profile, but their role is vital. They ensure justice is accessible and real for everyone. If a party believes the district court erred, the next step is the United States Courts of Appeals, also called circuit courts. The country is divided into 12 regional circuits, each with its own court of appeals, plus a special federal circuit. Losing parties can appeal, asking a panel of 3 judges to review the trial court's record for legal errors. No new trials, no new evidence, just legal arguments and written briefs. Judges focus on whether the law was applied correctly, sometimes hearing brief oral arguments. Their decisions can affirm, reverse, or send cases back to district court. Because the Supreme Court hears so few cases, circuit court rulings often set the final precedent in their regions. When circuits disagree, it often prompts Supreme Court review to unify the law nationwide. At the top of the judicial pyramid stands the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land. 9 justices appointed for life hold the final say on constitutional questions. Their decisions are binding on all other courts and cannot be appealed. The court chooses which cases to hear, accepting only a small fraction each year, usually those with major constitutional questions or circuit splits. A Supreme Court ruling becomes the law of the land affecting every American. Decisions on voting rights, privacy, and free speech shape society for decades. The justices' responsibility is immense. Their rulings influence policy, culture, and daily life. Life tenure insulates them from political pressure, allowing decisions based on law, not popularity. Their written opinions become part of American history. The Supreme Court is the ultimate guardian of the Constitution. Its pronouncements carry unmatched weight and finality. The Supreme Court's greatest power isn't written in the Constitution. It's judicial review. This allows courts to strike down laws or executive actions that violate the Constitution. Judicial review was established in Marbury v. Madison, 1803, when Chief Justice Marshall declared it the judiciary's duty to say what the law is. This power makes the judiciary a co-equal branch, checking Congress and the President. It ensures government is bound by the rule of law, not arbitrary power. Courts can invalidate laws that censor speech or deny fair trials, protecting individual rights. Judges exercise this power carefully, presuming laws are constitutional unless clearly shown otherwise. Judicial review transforms the Constitution from a document into a living charter that governs our lives. Judicial review becomes real in landmark cases that reshape our nation. In Brown v. Board of Education, 1954, the court declared segregated schools unconstitutional, dismantling legal segregation and fueling the civil rights movement. The court's evolving interpretation of equality changed society, not just the lives of those directly involved. In Gideon v. Wainwright, 1963, the court guaranteed the right to an attorney for anyone accused of a serious crime, ensuring justice isn't reserved for the wealthy. These decisions show the court's power to define rights and demand the nation live up to its ideals. The Supreme Court's rulings affect marriage, privacy, voting, and free speech, shaping the boundaries of our liberty. The justices' interpretations create the legal framework for our daily lives. The courthouse is where abstract rights become real protections. Miranda v. Arizona, 1966, shows how the court protects individual rights in the justice system. Ernesto Miranda confessed after hours of police interrogation without being told his rights. The Supreme Court ruled that suspects must be informed of their right to remain silent and to an attorney, the now famous Miranda rights. These warnings are a safeguard against coercion, ensuring everyone knows their protections when most vulnerable. The decision was controversial, but endures as a cornerstone of criminal procedure. Miranda rights are a practical rule that makes constitutional protections real for millions. The court's power isn't just about interpreting rights. It's about making them meaningful in everyday life. The judiciary's power is immense, but its limits are real. Courts have no army or purse. They rely on the other branches to enforce their rulings. After Brown v. Board of Education, the Supreme Court couldn't desegregate schools alone. It took Congress, the president, and public support. Judicial decisions aren't self-executing. Their impact depends on cooperation from government and the people. Courts can't create laws or set policy agendas. They can only decide cases brought before them. Many issues never reach the courts at all. The legislative and executive branches remain the engines of policy, while the judiciary ensures those policies stay within constitutional bounds. Ultimately, the court's authority rests on public trust. If people lose faith in judicial fairness, the system weakens. Judges must remain neutral and principled to maintain legitimacy. The power of the gavel depends on the willingness of government and citizens to respect the rule of law. Understanding the courts is essential for protecting your rights. Knowledge empowers you to recognize unconstitutional actions and challenge them. An informed citizenry is the first defense against the erosion of liberty. The president appoints judges, and the Senate confirms them. Your vote shapes the future of the courts. Paying attention to court decisions helps you engage in the national conversation about rights and justice. The courts will continue to face complex questions about federal and state power, healthcare, and voting rights. How they decide will shape our government and freedoms for generations. A clear understanding of the judiciary is indispensable for every American.